Hello there, my friend, and welcome to today's shoulder-focused mobility session. Now, in this session, we're going to be going through some really powerful techniques and protocols to not only improve the range of motion of your shoulder, but strengthen that range of motion. So that's going to be the important distinction between just flexibility, passive flexibility, and mobility. Mobility is the one that we're really after, which is your ability to control a range of motion. So that's going to be the most important thing for not only your strength and performance, but longevity and overall joint health and stability. Before we go any further, I am going to be using a piece of equipment for this broom handle. So, in order to get the most out of this session, I would ask that you have some form of stick, just a stick. All right, like I said, a broom handle, a wooden dowel, anything frankly this shape that's light enough to maneuver around relatively easy. Okay, so I'm sorry if that is not too inclusive, but hopefully it's something that you can procure so that you can get the most out of this mobility work. It's also a very versatile bit of kit for all kinds of mobility work around the body. So, the other most important thing that I'm going to tell you is today I want you to work within your pain-free range of motion and within your pain-free level of intensity, which is to say we're going to be working really hard here, and we're going to be working hard in some uncomfortable stretched positions, but that doesn't mean I want any pinching pain or sharp pain. That will not make things better. So if you run into any pain, simply either back off the range of motion or back off the amount of intensity that you are giving to any particular set that we're going to be performing today. Alrighty? Otherwise, let's just find out everything as we go along here. Now, we are going to be exploring a few key components, primarily looking at shoulder internal rotation, which is often lacking, okay, as well as shoulder flexion. So that's our ability to get that arm overhead. Especially important for those of you that are into your gym training, want to be able to put things overhead comfortably and easily without running into any compensation patterns that might cause you injury in the long term. All right, so in whatever base position you're happy with, you could be standing, kneeling. I'm doing this sat down. We're going to kick off just with our controlled articulate rotation. So this is a great way to check into a joint in the body, in this instance the shoulder joint. We want to think, because it's a ball and socket, we've got lots of range potential there that is ignored, which is often why we run into trouble with the shoulders or the hips, because of those ball and sockets. Lots of range potential, but also a lot of potential to completely ignore those ranges in our everyday life. We're going to do 3 reps with ascending intensity per side. I want you to try and do what we call is irradiate the body, where I'm building tension from the inside out to stop things moving around. So it's easy with the shoulders when we do this rotation, as you're about to see, for the chest and the spine, all this movement to happen here. I want you to try and localize it to this joint, which means we're going to keep the elbow locked, and we're just going to try and have the movement come from this ball and socket in here. Why don't we start off? I want you to think about 50% intensity. Like the air is a little bit denser than normal, okay? So it requires some effort to move through. Then in rep 2, we're going to go like 75%, and then in the last rep, I want you to work as hard as you safely can without causing yourself, obviously, any pain. So, if you're with me, let's start off. This is just a great way to check into the body, see what our current range of motion feels like, and then we can retest it at the end. All right, so I'm going to go fist and thumb pointing forward my direction, and I'm going to start rising that through this thick air. I'm taking that bicep past the ear, and then I will run out of space somewhere around here in my end range flexion. I'm then going to bring it to the side and begin the internal rotation process. So I'm turning that thumb down. That's why I like the thumb, as it's sort of like your pointer. Keep twisting inside as you're coming into shoulder extension behind the body. Keep exploring all that range until we drop down, knuckles facing in towards the hip. I'm then going to take it back, driving it back behind me, rotating back around, returning from whence I came, bicep past the ear, and we're this way. Now let's do another one and build that intensity. So I've really got to fight to work my way through the air here. This shouldn't feel easy, but that doesn't mean that it hurts, okay? And then on my third and final rep here, I'm going to give it everything I got. Imagine that air is made of peanut butter and honey all mixed together, or something else that doesn't give you the heebie-jeebies. Really, really explore your end ranges, scraping around the corners of that imaginary room, capturing as much of that as you can. Okay. Now we're going to come on to the other side. So give me that 50% intensity. The air is a little bit denser, kind of cotton woolly. Again, try not to turn the chest as you begin that rotation internally and behind the body there. And rep 2 up to 75% intensity. And finally, I want you to bring everything you've got here to this dense atmosphere for our third and final rep. Lovely. Now, because this next set, where we're going to be introducing you to your first set of pails and rails for shoulder internal rotation, there's a 2-minute passive hold. So I'm going to get us straight on into that, and then I can explain everything else as we go, so we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on the clock there, just running one there. We're going to be coming into what's called a sleeper stretch, where we're going to be lying on our side. If you want to prop your head up, that might be a nice touch, so you can feel nice and comfy here, because we are going to be spending some time here. My arm is directly out to my side like this. Doesn't want to be flared there, doesn't want to be too tucked. Just trying to keep it somewhere in that range there. Now, what's important is that you don't let anything else move. So I want you to sort of think about pinning your shoulder, all right, shoulder blade, nothing else is going to move, just that ball and socket. In this case, internally rotating the socket. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make a fist with the side that we're going to be focusing on here today, excuse me, and I'm going to apply some pressure to the top of that fist. Think of that like a lever from the non-working arm. Now that is about where I am feeling a good stretch on the inside, all right, deep inside that shoulder joint. Bearing in mind, if I wanted to go further, I just release, like, that's not coming from the shoulder anymore, it's just compensating, elsewhere. So try to keep on top of that. We want to be just localizing this where we want it. Find your best passive stretch, and we're going to hang out there. I'm officially starting my 2 minutes now, so I'm going to keep an eye on that for us, where we're going to go to 3:15. So, applying enough pressure to get a good stretch there, where you can't really go any further. Now I'm going to explain to you what we're doing after this. So when I reach the end of that 2 minutes of passive stretching, I'm going to perform my pails contraction. Now, pails, progressive angular isometric loading, super catchy stuff, will involve driving this bottom arm, indeed the area that's under this top hand. I'm going to drive it up to the sky, like I'm trying to open it that away, all right, but I'm not going to let it go anywhere. That's what isometric means. It means that the tissues are contracting in place. They're not getting shorter or longer, okay? The way we're going to go about that, once we hit our 2 minutes, is do 20% intensity, 40, 60, 80, 100 across a 5-second ramp up. That ramp up's important, all right? So you don't want to go to suddenly max effort. You're asking potentially for a bit of trouble there. We want to ramp it up, okay? So, and then we're going to hold that maximum intensity for 10 seconds. At the end of that 10-second pails contraction, we're going to do the rails, which is the regressive angular isometric loading. Now that's where we will try and pull our bottom arm here that's fixed to the floor away from the top hand, essentially pulling ourselves deeper into internal rotation at the shoulder. So that's an important distinction, right? So we do the contraction going upwards for ramping up, then we do the 10-second hold at that maximum intensity, and then we try and pull it away from the hand towards the floor for 10 seconds. I then bring the hand to meet that new position, which is essentially in a deeper stretch, and we'll repeat that one more time. 2 minutes has passed, so now let's have a play with that. I'm going to start driving this bottom arm up into that hand. You should feel those sensations start climbing up. I'm climbing to 40, to 60 to 80, 100% intensity. Everything I've got here, trying to push up into that hand. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then try and pull it away from the hand, away into more internal rotation, and make sure that's coming from the joint, not the shoulder blade or anywhere else. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that hand to meet the new position and relax. So you notice now I'm essentially in a slightly deeper internal rotation position, as if by magic. We've essentially just manipulated the nervous system here to give us a bit more range of motion. This is the sort of thing you see people who try and, I don't know, sell you quick fixes. They're like, look what I did in one session. Alright, like I said, nervous system trickery, but it's an important part of the process, because then we'll spend more time here, we'll do hard contractions and thus build strength in this range of motion, and you just rinse repeat that over time to build actual usable functional range of motion. So we got like another 10 seconds here hanging out in this passive position. We're going to repeat the same protocol we did, ramp up with our pails into the hand and then pull it towards the floor. Okay, so let's start doing that now. I'm driving up into that hand. It'll probably feel more intense now because we're in a deeper range of motion. 8, good. Building 60%, 80%. Everything I got there for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now pull it away from that hand. It'll probably be harder, but you might get some room out of it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that hand to meet the new position. And you see here, I have gained some range in this short-term position. What we're going to do is just hang out here, continuing to just try and relax into what was probably a relatively intense stretch for you. And then we're going to come on out of it. I'd encourage you, just give me 5 full range internal, external rotations here. Okay. Then I would like us to do the same on the other side. What do you know? Full of surprises. Okay. So, get yourself comfy. Get into the sleeper stretch position. Again, make sure we're in that neutral shoulder position. We're not shrugged up. Find your passive end range. And I'm officially starting our 2 minutes there. Okay. Now we should have some familiarity. For the record, I know there's a lot of jargon and acronyms, and this is probably a little more in-depth compared to other forms of stretching you might have done. Maybe not. All right. Not trying to not give you any credit. But this stuff is incredibly effective, and it takes a lot of practice to get the most out of it. And here we are practicing. So go you. I know what you're thinking next time you do this session, because you're going to want to do it again. You'll bring some pillows to the party, but I hope you've got some pillows. My neck's getting a bit bored of holding this position. How are we doing? Cool, 25 seconds. Okay, my pedigree chum, let's ramp up our pales contraction. So driving that hand into the top hand, 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%. Safest and greatest effort now for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now pull it towards the floor as hard as you can. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that hand to meet it in the new range of motion. And the new deeper stretch, should I say, sorry. 30 seconds hanging out here. We'll do one more set of pails and rails. Okay, if you're ready, let's do our final set of pails and rails in this position. So I'm ramping up now 20% into that top hand, 40, it's more intense this time, 60, 80, 100% intensity for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now try and pull deeper for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to bring that meet the new position. Spend 30 seconds here again, just hanging out, and then we shall move on. Okay. Oh yeah, let's do just those. Give it some wiggly room with 5 joint rotations in this position. Okay. Now, we're going to grab our stick and we're simply going to do some manually resisted internal and external rotation. So what we can do is, non-working hand is going to be holding the stick like so. I'm going to go palms up and this 90-degree angle. And this is where we're going to sort of provide this resistance. I want you to pin your elbow into your sort of side, into your rib and your hip there. And we're simply going to be able to temper the resistance. Now I simply want us to do a hard set. We're just going to do one hard set of 60 seconds, which isn't an exact science because you're going to be feeling out how much resistance to provide. We're just going to do continual motion of internal and external rotation in this side tucked position. Okay. Now you can obviously use lots of tools for this. I'm just trying to keep things simple with what we have access to. So what I'm going to do is I'm obviously just going to apply force in one direction as it's coming in. I'll come a bit closer. And then fire it that way and resist this away, right? So I'm pushing it out that way as far as it will go, and then I'm resisting as I come in this way. Okay, so we're essentially applying that force into the joint through that rotation process. Okay, so join me here, have a bit of a play. Like I said, just a really nice accessible way of applying resistance to this area and thus getting stronger. So I'm going to keep my eye on the time, and I want you ready with me. We're going to start in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to go externally rotated. And again, you can gauge how much force to put through at different ranges. Some ranges will feel stronger and you can ramp it up. Other ones less so. And we can play, you can spend longer in some areas. Again, just make sure you keep your elbow pinned to the side. If you're not finding it hard, ramp up the intensity. And I'm going to bring it back here to finish. Weird, right? You might not have done a lot of manual resistance stuff before, but like I said, you can make it as hard as, well, the amount of force that you can create. Let's waste no time in starting this other side. Okay, so I'm going to give you a 5-second countdown again. 3, 2, 1. We're going to start heading out and pulling in. And back to the center. Okay. Alrighty. Just a one and done there. One and done to train some of that rotation. Now we're going to have a look at shoulder flexion. Okay, so I'm afraid we will be doing another set of pails and rails. Okay. But you're going to get a hell of a good stretch out of it, as well as look to build some more overhead range of motion. Okay. So we're basically going to want to grab this stick somewhere into the mid-upper portion of it, whereby in this all-fours position, and through the record you could get loads of pillows, you could have your belly resting on like a low bench or a stool. For the sake of presentation here, I'm going to just rest on the floor, like so. You do want to be comfortable, because remember it's a passive hold. If I, for example, that I know is my end range of motion, because if I try and lift my arm up, it doesn't go anywhere, right? Whereas if I was down here and then you asked me to lift my arm up, I've got a bit more room. So get as high as you can. I like using this collapsed quadruped, because if I'm up here, I can much more likely to use the spine, whereas if I pop the hips down on the heels, then I'm blocking that off and I can use my elbow here and nothing else is really moving. Okay, so I'm making sure that that is somewhat aligned vertically overhead. I'm popping myself down. I'm going to give you 5 seconds more to provide to find your best setup here, and then we're going to start our 2-minute window. 3, 2, 1, and we're off. So we've obviously learnt the kind of pails and rails idea, contractions in either directions of the joint. In this instance, our pails contraction, the first one we do, I'm going to be driving the stick down into the floor. Okay, what's nice about that is you can really give it some beans here. So I'm driving down as hard as I can, and we're contracting all of that stuff on the underside here. Alright. Then, at the end of that window, I'm going to try and pull myself deeper into shoulder flexions. That's like I'm trying to lift the stick, but the way I prefer to think about it is I'm pulling my body towards the floor, like I'm pulling through the shoulder joint. Okay, so you want to try and stay consistent with where your torso is, so that we can really isolate that movement coming from shoulder flexion. So just another recap, because we're going to be starting in a minute's time. First one, I'm going to ramp up 5 seconds again, driving into the floor. Should feel that contract on the underside of the armpit and stuff. And then when I pull myself deeper, it's everything on the back. Alright, on the back of the shoulder there. This one can be prone to sort of starting to lose sensation in your hand because the blood might be rushing out of it. If you have to stop, you have to stop, that's fine, but let's try and hold on here. Okay, let's start ramping up. So let's apply some force down, stick into the floor 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%. Everything I got here driving the stick into the floor. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm trying to like lift the stick up, pull myself deeper, contract everything on the back of the shoulder. 10, 9, 8, 7, cramp, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now we're hanging out. We're hanging out. Just going to do 30 seconds here, hanging out, recovering from that hard set, and we'll do one more. Okay, let's start ramping up again. So driving down for 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%. Everything you got here, safest and greatest effort for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now rails, pull, pull up, pull up. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, relax in that new deeper range of motion. Okay, I'm going to pop the stick down for a second. Oh, now depending on what setup you used, please join me in this collapsed quadruped as we just do a set of end range lift-offs. So fist and thumb, keep the elbow locked, head on the arm can be nice, and I'm just going to lift as hard as I can into that shoulder flexion end range. Nothing else is moving, and then I'm going to bring it to the side, scraping along the ceiling into like 3 on the clock there. Pick it up, bring it back to that overhead position, and let's just do that 4 more times for a total of 5 here. Up, scrape it along the ceiling, keep the elbow locked, down, scrape it up. Okay, I've done 3 total, 2 more. Okay, now we're going to come into the last of our pails and rails, which will be the last thing for us to do today. Okay, so let's get that second side ready to rock. Find your passive end range right, so I can't move my arm any higher than it is. I've got a big stretch on the inside there. And my 2 minutes is starting now. Oopie, okay. There's a bumblebee near me. Please leave me alone. Just under a minute remaining here, folk. Alright, in 10 seconds we're going to do our ramp up here for our first set of pails. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to start driving down at 20% there. 40, 60, 80. Everything I got for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now rails, try and lift it up through the shoulder, contract everything, pull yourself deeper, deeper. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax into that new, in theory, deeper range of motion. We've got one more set to go. Oh yes, not comfortable. Okay, let's think about ramping back up for the last time, pardon me. So driving down for 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%. Everything I got now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rails pulling deeper. Contract everything on the back. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relaxing into that new, deep range of motion. Let's try and calm our breathing here. Just going to do a little passive hold and we'll do our end range liftoffs. And then you'll be free to go about your day with slightly more supple shoulders. Oh, lovely. Okay, let's do those end range liftoffs. So if you weren't already, come into the collapsed child's pose quadruped situation here. And let's rest the head. Get your fist and your thumb here. And remember, we're just going to come up from the overhead position as high as we can along the ceiling. And then just to that sort of, wherever that is on the clock. Where are we on the clock? 3, 6, 9. That's like 10. 10 to 12 on the clock for 5 full reps back and forth. Okay. We're going to call our session right there. So, to recap, we've gone through your controlled articulate rotations, which you could do every day. I'd encourage you to do that every day. Tell your body, give your body information, hey, I need this range of motion. Okay, so don't get rid of it. Your body's just great at basically adapting to whatever we give it. We've then also looked at internal rotation, pails and rails, so looking to expand your capsular workspace, internal rotation. We then had a play with building strength through some of those ranges of motion. Same with that overhead shoulder flexion. Now bear in mind, you could expand this session. You could add in more components, more end range strengthening with different lift-offs. We could add load. There's going to be plenty more sessions like this to come, but this is a really nice start point to capture some of those areas that are most sort of neglected and thus problem areas, whether you have a performance sport, you just want to perform well in the gym, or just feel great in everyday life. You've done something really positive for that. So I'll speak to you very soon. And in the meantime, stay flexy, my friend.